Welcome to Whiskey with JG. Today, I pour a drink for a man who came to this country as an immigrant, didn't speak a word of English, and has been on a personal growth journey for the last 2 decades. All right, so today we are interviewing Johnny Luis. Johnny, how are you, buddy?
Not too bad. How are you, man?
Fantastic. So tell me, are you a big whiskey fan?
No, I'm not a whiskey connoisseur for sure.
Okay.
But I do like to taste different whiskeys, yeah.
Perfect. Well, that's good because this show has very little to do with whiskey. We just happen to drink whiskey during the show, so that's good. But you enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
You enjoy whiskey. Do you have a particular favorite? Do you like the peaty stuff, the not so peaty stuff? Do you like Irish whiskey? Do you like Scotch?
Jameson would be my favorite whiskey, which is Irish. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, let's see how it tastes. Cheers.
Okay. Cheers.
How do you say cheers in Portuguese?
Saúde.
Saúde.
Or in Brazil, ching ching.
Ching ching.
Ching ching.
I like ching ching.
Ching ching.
So Johnny, tell me the story. When did you come here? How old were you? And tell me a little bit what brought you here.
Well, I came with my parents, so I had no choice in the matter. But it was a good choice because we had pretty much no more family left in Brazil. So I came when I was 12. I turned 13 a few months right after. And I did a little bit of high school. Not knowing English was sort of like not learning much. So it made it a little more challenging for me to be able to go on to university or college. So the main thing my main industry was pretty much construction.
The first decision to come to Canada wasn't yours. It was your parents.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot to talk about there. You were blessed they chose this great country to come. The second decision was to do construction.
Correct.
And that sounds like a pretty big decision. Was anything going through your mind at that time? Like, were you scared? Were you fearful? Were you nervous?
I got married at 21. So I had a decision to make. And I think that's what forced me to see that I had no time to do anything else. Had I gone to school, we wouldn't have been married because then we wouldn't be able to have a house. I think working with my dad, I began to realize that I liked working with my hands. I realized that I wanted to do that. I wanted to create things with my hands,
yep.
Right? And the more I did it, the more I realized that I enjoy doing this. And I think that's what made me go on to construction and become very successful, is because I did it for a passion, not for putting food on the table.
So here you are, you make a decision, you're going to go into construction, you're going to start working for someone else and then eventually work for yourself. Did you already have that? Did you always have that in mind that you were going to one day work for yourself as a construction, in the construction business?
No.
No, you thought you'd work for someone else because you made another big decision 7 years later saying, I'm going to go out on my own, I'm going to stop working for someone else. What led to that decision?
I think it was the ability to have growth on my own, to sail my own ship type of thing, right? Because when I was working for somebody and in construction, the only way that you can advance to become something that you have more control of would be to be a super. And then you're in control of people, but you're still not in control of your outcome, right? If I worked for a big corporation as a partner, then I'd have to deal with a partnership. And I don't think a partnership would work well for me because of the fact that at that time, the only thing that I saw was construction. And to have a construction company where one person is an office manager and one person is the on-site person, and that's the person that I would be, I don't think it would serve well as far as fairness.
Okay.
Right? I think that in a partnership, people need to have 50-50 in everything, right? I think that the fact that I could sail my own ship is what I was looking at.
It was really about the growth prospects. It was about your personal growth. It happened to be in construction. You happened to use that vehicle, but it was about you growing personally, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. And with nobody dragging me down.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, interesting. So then you go out, you start this construction business, you become successful, you launch your own successful business for many, many years. which is a feat in itself. You understand that, right? Like 90% of businesses fail within 5 years. You made it past that. You were successful, paid off your mortgage, did all the things that you did, and then you decide to invest. So why?
You know what it is? I think it was like, it was a way for me to make it more even like maybe adding sales to my boat. I don't know what the right way to explain it, but it's I'm my own client now. I'm my own boss. Like it's 100%. Like it's less influence that could dictate my outcome. And I always had the real estate thing in the back of my mind. I always said, I want to do it. I want to do it. Running my construction company, I guess at the halfway point, I sort of dove into it a little bit, but I was trying to do both, and it didn't go as well as I expected it, right? And what I had heard from other investors that they were doing. So I thought, if I'm going to do this, I need to do either one or the other. And I thought, I'll keep going with the construction, and I'll start learning the real estate industry, and then slowly do it. So finally, I think about after 5 years after I had done those 2 trials, I was ready for it. I took a few real estate courses, and I just watched podcasts and YouTube videos, whatever I could watch to get information, and talking to people. I'd go to like free schooling seminars just to get more information, and not necessarily join the course because I had already done it, but just because it would give you different perspectives, right? You know, some people touch some subjects, accounting, other would touch lawyer information, some real estate and multifamily, so different varieties of the subject. And I thought, you know, I'm ready now. So I had my company closed. I remortgaged my house, which is something that it was weird for me to do, because my main goal through my entire life was to pay my mortgage down. And I was 42 years old. I had no more mortgage. And I was able to pull full equity from my house. At that time, 2015, I was able to pull $375,000 from my property. And I just went all out. I started buying properties. I was also lucky enough to be in Hamilton at an early stage. So it's being at the right place at the right time. The reason why I went to Hamilton is because I was looking for somewhere where I could stretch 350,000, right? Mm-hmm. Where I could make that a lot of deposits and get lots of properties, right? Because I knew that the banks would give me up to five mortgages, and then I'd be done, right? And at this point, I didn't even know much about like private lending or anything like that, right? So I went into what I knew, and what I knew was, you know, A or B lending, and how much can I make 350? I looked at Hamilton. The entire GTA, the average at that time was about $500,000-$600,000. Hamilton's 150 to 200. I'm like, why am I not going to invest here? What's bad about this city that I'm not going to invest in? So I started looking into it. I started looking at the possibilities of Hamilton, and I saw, you know, this is a metropolis. If Toronto had it, why couldn't they have it one day? And to tell you the truth, the growth was a lot faster than what I anticipated. It's been very, very successful. So no regrets. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. No regrets.
No regrets.
I'm hearing that you had a goal to build a successful construction company, and you conquered that. You met that goal, and you were kind of, sounds like you were almost looking for the next challenge at some point. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, well, it's funny because my wife says midlife crisis, right? So she's like, is this your midlife crisis? Because for my wife, she's looking at, we're doing good. You got a good thing going. Why are you going to go spend money to take a real estate course and to try something that you have no experience in, right? And not only Christine had doubt, but so did I, right? In the back of my head, I'm thinking, what if this is not what, I was told it is? What if, possibilities of me not being able to make this work?
How did you overcome that doubt?
I guess my personality, I'd say. I'm the kind of person that I barrel through stuff. I keep going and figuring it out as I go, right? And I'll get the end result that I was looking for. I might struggle. I might learn things that I didn't know, but I'll get to there, and then I'll know how to do it again, and then just keep doing it, and perfecting myself until I know how to barrel through 100% efficiently. Right?
Yeah.
So is it called risky? It is, because you could not work properly. But I think with my personality, because I'm so hard at it, it has to work. I make myself work. Right? So
I mean, think of all the people that you know and that I know that have thought about this for years and they never take that jump. They never can conquer the fear that is holding them back. How did you do it?
I would have to do a cheers to Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay, yes,
Okay?
very good. Yeah.
I read his book, and it completely changed my mindset on that fear. Right? Because once I started understanding what the real estate market could offer, I started listening to other podcasts and seeing so many positive outcomes that it made me lose that fear. All that together is what said, you know what, this is good. This is going to work.
Yeah. So the application of this knowledge has become critical for you, and now you've become a voracious reader, a voracious listener of podcasts. You watch videos. Anytime you're not actually working in your real estate portfolio and doing what you're doing, you're actually learning, you're growing all the time. And it sounds like that's always been a motivator for you. You always wanted to find something that you would love enough to grow constantly. And it sounds like you found that in real estate investing. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And you continue to apply that knowledge today, even though you've been very successful and by most investor standards, extremely successful. You still continue to apply that knowledge today and move forward. Why?
I think it's because you can never, first of all, it's impossible to think that you've learned it all. You're always learning. You can always learn, right? And second of all, I like working with partners and creating things together. And also, I think the more you educate yourself, it's not so much to gain more financially, but to be able to take a load off doing things the hard way, right? So financially, yes, is the benefit that comes with it. But I think to make things smoother, it's the most important, I think.
So what's next for Johnny?
I think it's building a team now. Yeah. I think it's building a team, because I know I won't be able to do this forever. And if my thing is acquiring properties, and I plan on holding the properties, I need to build a team. And that team has to involve many moving parts. It has to be an agent, the property manager, lawyer, somebody to do what I do, and anything else that comes with doing that. It's building the team to be able to have a smooth function pattern, right? And repeat itself and work properly, right?
Beautiful. Let me ask you this question. What is the one decision that you know you need to make now that you're not making?
I think it would be getting my kids more involved. Yeah. I think if I need, especially my 18-year-old, I think I would need to get her more involved to be able to continue this, to pass it on to them and know that they're going to be able to do something with it.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, cheers to that. Cheers to your legacy.
Awesome.
Well, folks, my glass is empty. Johnny's glass is empty. Thank you so much for joining us with Whisky and JG. We hope you've enjoyed this conversation about Johnny and his trials and tribulations in the real estate world.